Hi, this is Jesi from Literary Gladiators. I'm here doing the Apple book tag. Sorry for the delay, but I'm going to go ahead and go through, some of the books that I felt matched best with the questions that we got. And don't mind me, I'm eating my apple for the Apple book tag. Alright, so the first apple was the Granny Smith, the question being an overbearingly sweet work or character, and I went with a little bit of both. I'm a big paranormal romance fan, and my favorite paranormal romance author is Jacqueline Frank, so I had to go with book number 3 of her Nightwalker series, Elijah. That's the name of the book, and it's such a wonderfully overbearingly sweet book, with the main character being Elijah, who is also wonderful and overbearingly sweet. So that's why I picked that book. For anybody out there who likes paranormal romance, Jacqueline Frank is the way to go. Definitely pick it up, and she's awesome enough to sign the books if you can, find her on her book signings. Next is the Fuji Apple, a work about a mountain. Now, I admit that I haven't read this book yet. I actually plan to borrow it so I can read it. Called Into Thin Air, and I'm not going to try to say his last name, Cracker? Anyways, it's about a first-hand account of the journey up to the summit of Mount Everest. I do like the idea of climbing Mount Everest. I would personally never do it. I'm a little too chicken. And fully unprepared to do any kind of craziness like that, but I love the movie Everest, and I love reading about Mount Everest, so this is definitely something on my list to read, and it's about a mountain. So, and then The Red Delicious, that's a work that would be perfect if judged by its cover. Again, this is a book that I haven't read yet, but I bought it based off of the cover. It's called The Ritual, and it's, trees and spooky, and it's got like a skull on a post there, and it just looks really mysterious and creepy, and that is actually why I bought it. I did what no book lover should do, which is judge a book by its cover, but that's why I felt this one went perfectly with the Red Delicious Apple questions, so I'm excited to read it. I'll let you know, but The Ritual. The next is the Golden Delicious, something with yellow on the cover, and naturally I had to go with one of the better graphic novels, The Watchmen. I read The Watchmen for my English class in college. It was my English 102 class, and instead of assigning us, some boring literature, as he called it, he assigned us a graphic novel. So this was my college book I bought at the college bookstore. So, highly recommended, and lots of yellow on the color. Golden and delicious. So, the Macintosh, a writer that has influenced your writing. I do a lot of writing, and I find that I tend to be a little bit better at scarier stuff, darker things, which is really funny because it's very unlike me. I tend to be described as bubbly and not dark and scary and very unintimidating. But I like to write that stuff, so naturally my influence comes from Edgar Allan Poe. Definitely one of my favorite authors. He's very talented in the way that he puts together his works and how he phrases things and how his words just string together so flawlessly. And gives you that air of creepiness. One of my favorite sayings by him is, "Words have no power to impress the mind without the exquisite horror of their reality." And I feel like that is very much what I would like to do with my writing. So I use him to influence me a lot. Next I have the Honeycrisp Apple, which is a book you have read that is in great demand. I actually had a hard time thinking about this one, but I kind of went with Game of Thrones here, because I feel like that's a popular TV series, and a lot of people are looking around to try to read the books now, to try to compare and contrast the series to the books. So, in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of high demand. But, obviously, if I could get that 6th book from him, you know, that would be wonderful. Who knows when that's coming out. Next one. Oh, I'm skipping pages. Hold on. Is the Empire Apple, which, I brought with me. Empire Apples, a work about New York. This one I also went with Jacqueline Frank. It's still part of her Nightwalker series, but it's called Forbidden. It's kind of an extension on the original Nightwalker series, and the girl is actually the main character. She is born and raised in the Catskills in New York, which is where Jacqueline Frank is from. Also somewhere where I used to go camping all the time. I actually spend my birthday in the Catskills every year, the Country Music Festival, and even before I was going there, I was camping there. So I was able to relate a lot to the places that she uses and references in this book. So again, recommended if you like paranormal romance. Start with Jacqueline Frank. Then the Gala Apple, a work that fits under many genres. Again, I had a little trouble with this one, but I ultimately ended up choosing Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey. I felt it covers, like, a lot of people just remember it as, oh, Troy and battle and the Greeks fighting over a woman, but I feel like it's so much more than that. It's adventure. It's not just battle, it's adventure. And it's, you know, gosh, I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit of everything, and I think that's what makes it so enjoyable. I really love this book. Highly recommended. You read any kind of way about it. It's about jealousy and love and passion and fighting and adventure and a little bit of everything. So I felt like this one best represented the Gala Apple. The Ambrosia, a long work that was easy to follow. And I know you might laugh at me because it's not exactly an adult book, but growing up, I was a big fan of Harry Potter, which was a very long bit of work. Was it 8 books, 7 books? 7 books, 8 movies. But having started reading it as a kid, it was very easy to follow. It wasn't too in-depth. It didn't take you for too many twists and turns. And even though I like twists and turns in books, sometimes you just want an easy read, something to understand, relate to, and just have fun with. And I feel like the Harry Potter series, any of the Harry Potter books, really do that. So that's my Ambrosia Apple. And my next one's the Jazz Apple, a work written after 2010 that demonstrates originality. And I hate to say this because I'm not going to lie, I really did not like this book series, and I got no real enjoyment out of it. However, prior to reading this book, I'd never read anything like it, and after reading this book, I haven't quite found anything quite like it either. So the book I chose for the Jazz Apple was, in fact, 50 Shades of Grey. I've yet to read anything along the same lines, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if maybe I haven't, just because I feel like this kind of ruined the genre for me. I know a lot of people who did like it, and you know what, bravo, if you guys enjoyed it, great, I'm glad you're reading, but I personally did not like it. I bought the book on a whim. I read the entire series just hoping that maybe I'd like it, and I didn't, but that is my Jazz Apple because it is original. You can't quite find anything like it, so that's my Jazz. And lastly, the Mutsu, a big book that you indulge in, and I have to go back to Edgar Allan Poe, specifically this book, his complete tales and poems. I love this book, and actually bookmarked always is The Raven, one of my favorite poems. I used to have the whole thing memorized. Now when I try to recall it off the top of my head, I can only remember like maybe the first 5 stanzas, but it is one of my favorite creepy books to go back to, or even just, you know, something quick and easy to read. He's always got, you know, something quick and easy and makes you think. So that is my my Mutsu Apple, my big book that I indulge in. And finally, what is my favorite apple? Which is a very difficult question because I'm a very big apple lover. I love all apples and pies. I use stamens for applesauce. I make apple pie with Granny Smith and Macintosh. I also like Galas and Honeycrisps. They're nice and sweet. And then in the fall time, I eat Fuji's for breakfast because we get them. They're like this big and they're so wonderful. So I can't say that I have an absolute favorite apple because they're all my favorite. And, you know, I eat a lot of them because, you know, an apple a day. That's what they say. So I can't pick. I'm sorry. I just eat them all of them, all the time. And that's it, guys. Keep eating and keep reading. Bye-bye.